Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Volvo Christian. I'm in home of Volvo, Gothenburg, Sweden. Just outside World of Volvo, their new exhibition hall and also partly museum. But today I'm going to attend the 1990 event with Volvo Cars. EX90 versus XC90. Because just behind the windows here, they have the completely redesigned XC90 hybrid, and they also have an EX90 on display. And it's going to be super exciting to see both cars side by side, EX90, XC90, the 1990 event. I'm going to take you with me on this 1990 event. I'm not sure how much I can film, but I hope it turns out to be a pretty good video from this 1990 launch event. So join me as we walk inside and take a look at the cars before the event starts in 1 hour's time. I hope you will enjoy this video here from World of Volvo.
I wanna give you a million things, cause isn't love what it's all about? And how to make you smile again is something that I wanna figure out. I wanna catch you like every time that you fall. I wanna give you the world that is outside your walls. If I was God, I would save you, take you where you belong. If I could, I would give something new, then I would have what it takes. Make you feel like you're safe, cause all I need is just someone like you, someone like you, someone like you. Yeah, I just need someone like you, someone like you. Yeah, I just need someone like you, someone like you. You don't have to feel like this, yeah, we could try to leave it all behind. And we don't have to think about it, oh baby, try to rest your mind. I wanna catch you like every time that you fall.
So, jumping inside the World of Volvo, we have 390 cars on display. This is presumably the XC90. I could feel something here that they gives it away. We also have an EX90 in the middle here and an XC90 on the far end. So 2 XC90s and 1 EX90. But already the first 5 minutes I'm in here, we're getting Volvo news. The recent one just dropped like 5 minutes ago, that Volvo will adjust their electrification goals. Let's see if I can open it up again. Adjust electrification ambitions. That means the short story are that even after 2030, Volvo will still offer plug-in hybrids and mild hybrids. Before, they had a goal that after 2030, there will only be battery electric cars. But now, they have adjusted it, probably because of the global market. People are still a high demand for plug-in hybrids. That's why we have the XC90 by my side here. High demand, so even after 2030, Volvo will still offer plug-in hybrids and mild hybrids. But then we have some other whispering in the halls, because in the press release for this event, Volvo said they have a surprise or two. I guessed we would see the ES90 and also probably a little teaser for the EX60. That is the one everybody is waiting for. And according to the chatter here, it looks like I'm getting correct. We will see in about 45 minutes if I am correct. And then we will probably see the EX60 and also the ES90. I'm super thrilled for that. But let's keep on enjoying the show.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the wonderful World of Volvo, our new destination for all things Volvo, located right here in our home city of Gothenburg. My name is Jim Rowan, and I'm the CEO for Volvo Cars, and today it's a celebration of all things 90. This event marks the beginning of a new era for our company as the EX90 hits the road. And today, together, we will unveil the new XC90, our hybrid flagship SUV.
Hello. I'm sorry to interrupt this 1990 launch party video with something that's clearly not a 90 car. It's actually the EC40 Black Edition. But I wasn't quite pleased with a video clip I made at World of Volvo where I talked about all the Volvo news. I wasn't pleased with the picture quality and also the sound quality. So that's why we're here a couple of days later. Different car, different location. I'm here in beautiful Drøbak. Really calm and pleasant place to be. And I have the EC40 with me. Press car from Volvo Car Norway. But I wanted to talk about the news because when Volvo first invited us to this press release 1990 event, they said they had a surprise or two. Well, actually they had 4 surprises and 2 the following day. And that's what we're going to talk about in this clip. Because the first news already dropped like 5 minutes after I entered World of Volvo. And they got a press release saying that Volvo are adjusting their sales strategy after 2030 with the all-electric sales. There's been several articles the last days that Volvo are abandoning their sales strategy. And it's not actually abandoning, it's more an adjustment. And the news are that, because before Volvo said that after 2030 only battery electric cars. But now they are saying that 90 to 100% of their cars after 2030 will be at least battery electric or plug-in hybrid. 90 to 100% battery electric or plug-in hybrid. And the remaining 0 to 10% that will be limited to the mild hybrids. But the mild hybrids will eventually go away. Everything should have a cord. Either battery electric or plug-in hybrid. That was the first news. And then when we entered this presentation area with the stage, we had a little countdown. We saw the 1990 flip side video, and then Jim Rowan entered the stage. And then like 5 minutes into the presentation, he talked about this specific thing.
Most importantly is that we provide products that our customers want. We will be ready to go fully electric this decade, but if the market, infrastructure and customer acceptance is not quite there, we can allow that to take a few more years. The transition to electrification will not be linear. Customers and markets are moving at different speeds. And therefore, we will continue to invest in our hybrids so that wherever you are on your journey to electric driving, you can have a Volvo to suit your needs and your situations.
And change market conditions. That was 2 or 3 parts of that. The one was that the charging infrastructure aren't building out as rapidly as one would have thought or planned or hoped for. And also several governments have been starting to do pullbacks on the electric incentives. Here in Norway, we have had a shitload of incentives. That's why our EV sales are now like 94% in August 2024. But in other markets, the governments are doing a pushback on the incentives. And that directly affects the sales, because then a plug-in hybrid will be more reasonable to buy, especially if the price for the electric car are higher. So, but now, as I said, it's a little adjustment. We have 0 to 10% will be reserved for mild hybrids, the B5, the B6, and the remaining part, battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids. And the best part, Jim said, they're going to continue to develop the plug-in hybrids. Continue to develop. That was just music to my ears, because I was really disappointed of the, let's say we have an XC90 here. I was really disappointed that the XC90 facelift didn't get a bigger battery for the T8. We still have the 18.8 kilowatt hours battery that we got on model 22.5. And now with such an extensive facelift, why couldn't we get a bigger battery to match like competitors like Mercedes GLE with 32 kilowatt hours battery? Even if it's more than, even if Volvo says that the T8 has enough range and more than what your average driver uses in this premium segment, I wish we could get more. I want to break the 100 kilometers limit. So they will continue to develop. That was music to my ears. And then we got the XC90 presentation. The XC90 entered the stage. We got a full presentation of the car. And then sometime after, we got news number 2, and that was regard to a completely new user interface on the center screen. But not just for the XC90. We also saw pictures on the screen from EX90 and EX30. Different menu layers, but the same user interface. We have navigation on top, and we have the most recent apps slightly under, with your music, your media, and also your phone integration. And then under there again, we have this contextual bar, and this will be different from different driving scenarios. If you're parked, you have the camera. When you're driving, you have like drive modes and such. And then you have the climate at the far bottom. And the cool part with this, and the news part with this, are that this new user interface will be rolled out as an over-the-air update during 2025 to 2.5 million Volvos. All Volvos from 2020 that has the Android automotive infotainment. So like the XC40 P8 and like the S and V90 that got the Android implementation in model year 22, if I'm not completely mistaken. But every car that has the Android automotive would get this new user interface. So a huge news in that. 2.5 million cars, and they will start the rollout in 2025. Q1, Q2. So that is really great news. And after they have talked about the XC90, they went over to the EX90. So you had the best of both worlds. You had the plug-in hybrid, and now you had the full electric. So they presented us the EX90, and they also started to talk about that they will start their first customer deliveries this month, in September. So that is really, really great news. And then they went over to talk about a core computing technology that they have in the EX90. And Volvo are the first company, or the first legacy company, to use this technology.
It's the EX90's brain, and it consists of the car industry's leading core compute system. Quarterbacked by NVIDIA system on a chip and capable of many trillions operations per second. This core system orchestrates everything in the car, from core vehicle functionalities, energy management, and driver assistance, all the way to deep learning intensive operations such as direct perception.
So this is really, really interesting to know about that. But then suddenly, I've almost forgot that. We had a little additional news. It's not as big as the two others, but the EX90, we get a new music studio setting in the Bowers & Wilkins stereo from Abbey Road. The famous, probably everybody knows what that is, but Abbey Road. And that was really interesting to see how you can tweak the sound to this vintage mode or the studio mode. And I love the Bowers & Wilkins stereo in the Bowers in the EX90. So it's going to be super cool to hear how the Abbey Road studio. You know, we had in the previous XC90, we had the Gothenburg concert halls. I wasn't quite a fan of that because it's not that kind of music I'm listening to where that gets highlighted. I'm more in a studio setting. But now this Abbey Road, I'm super excited to see how this sounds. So yeah, a little news, not as big as the two other, but either way. And then after we had seen the XC90 and the EX90, both cars got on stage. And then Jim Rowan wanted to wrap up the presentation, and he said,
two flagships, the best of both worlds. But before we wrap, let's take one final look at those two giants. And if you look closely enough, you might just see another type of 90.
Oh yes, finally, it is official. The ES90 are coming. Holy crap, I'm a huge fan of the S90 and also a previous S90 owner, so this is right up my street, the ES90. I'm actually going to make a separate video on the ES90 because it's so important to me, so that's going to be in a separate video. And then we got two bonus news, actually that dropped officially the day after. And the first part of that was Volvo's charging box and home battery. V2H, as a vehicle to home and vehicle to grid. They actually had a car on display there, just outside the presentation hall, where you can see like the power went into the EX90, EX90, and then it went out again to this charging box on the wall, Volvo charging box, and also there was a battery solution on another wall. So really exciting to see this in action. And Volvo, this will drop in like Q1 or Q2 2025. Then the EX90 will be the first car out with vehicle to home and vehicle to grid. And that was actually a huge news because Volvo didn't want to comment on this before. But now suddenly it's all ready. Volvo charging box. This vehicle to home and vehicle to grid is not something I think I'm going to use myself, but it's a great news. Like great for some. And then the last news, and maybe almost as big as the ES90, because the day after, Volvo officially said that they have, or they are talking about the EX60, the most anticipated Volvo during the last years. This is what most people are waiting for, because the EX90 are too big. The ES90 are, it's a niche, it's a sedan. It's not for all markets, primarily China and US and me included. But the EX60, that is something many people are waiting for. And finally they dropped the news on that one. It's actually going to be built on the SPA3. So not the SPA2 as we have the EX90 and the ES90. But this is a further development of the SPA2. It's like these building blocks. So everything they have from the SPA2 will be further developed into the SPA3. And the EX60 are the first car out on the SPA3 platform. And this car will be the first car as well to be built in Torslanda. The first electric car to be built in Torslanda. Because EX90 are China, EX90 are South Carolina, USA. ES90, China, and EX40 and EC40 are Ghent, Belgium. And also China. But EX60, Torslanda, built by Sweden, made by Sweden. So that is a really great news. And they talked about this Volvo Superset Tech. Yeah. We're back. I got slightly interrupted by a barking dog just over here, but not sure where I ended, but we talked about this Volvo Superset Tech stack, like these building blocks, almost like Lego. You can have very many different combinations and configurations of this Superset tech stack. And this will be the fundament of the coming cars. The EX90, ES90, EX60. So really interesting. And all work on the EX90 will directly benefit the ES90 and also the EX60. They take all the knowledge from the EX90 into the coming cars, so that the development time won't be as long as we saw on the EX90. They can actually push out cars faster. And we're going to the SPA3. That has many blocks from SPA2, similar to this tech stack, these building blocks. They're just a further development from the SPA1, SPA2, and then SPA3. So really interesting. And this platform are also very scalable. Volvo had a little clip on their press release where we could see that they could push it in length, obviously, and also in track, that the battery are the core in the fundament or the platform. So really interesting. And they can actually build cars that is smaller than the EX30, but also bigger than the EX90, all within the same platform, the SPA3. And personally, I'm just super glad that Volvo have their own platform, the SPA platform, instead of using Geely's SEA1 or SEA2, like they did on the EX30. That is the SEA platform. So I'm really glad that we will see the SPA3 on the EX60, and also it's going to be built in Sweden. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier, but this will be the EX60 and the SPA3 will be the first car to be produced in Sweden. The first electric car to be produced at the factory in Torslanda. And I've been there a couple of times lately, and they are building really much. Several buildings are just popping up in construction work, preparing for the introduction of the SPA3 and all that connects to that. They're really expanding in Torslanda, and that is really cool to see. Sweden production, made by Sweden, made in Sweden. Yeah, so eventually maybe a factory ordered EX60 with factory delivery for myself. Maybe I have to look at the ES90 first, but I think that was all for the news at World of Volvo. Many great news, but for me it was all about the ES90. After that dropped, it was just like, forget everything else. I just want the ES90. More barking action in the background here, but ES90 definitely the highlight for me on this news drop. But I think now it's time to jump back to World of Volvo and the rest of the 1990 launch party video. So I hope you will continue to enjoy this video.
Put your hands on